September 29th, 1954. A ball is hit 460 feet. Willie Mays turns his back to it, sprints full speed, and catches it over his shoulder.
There's a long drive, way back in center field, way back, it is.
Without looking. Impossible. But here's what nobody tells you about that catch. It's not even in his top 10 greatest plays. And that is why Willie Mays might be the most disrespected legend in baseball history. Everyone talks about Jordan, LeBron, Brady, but the guy who did everything better than everyone, almost forgotten until today. Let me ask you something. Could Mike Trout do what Willie did? Could he hit 660 home runs, steal 338 bases, and win 12 gold gloves? In today's game, not a chance. But Willie did it while being denied services at restaurants, while receiving death threats, while playing on knees that doctors said looked like an 80-year-old man's. And he smiled through all of it. This isn't just a story about baseball. This is about a man who was so good that he forced America to love him, even when America didn't want to. Stick around, because what I'm about to show you will change how you see greatness forever. But before we get to the legend, we need to talk about the moment Willie Mays almost quit baseball. 1951, 20 years old, New York City. He's crying on the phone to his manager, saying he can't hit big league pitching. One hit in 26 at-bats. The pressure is crushing him. What happens next? We'll get to that. But first, you need to understand where this kid came from, because it makes what he became even more impossible. Born May 6, 1931, in Westfield, Alabama, the segregated South. His dad played in the Negro Leagues. His mom was a track star. And by age 14, Willie was facing grown men throwing 90-mile-per-hour fastballs in the Negro Leagues. Not Little League, not high school, the Negro Leagues, against professionals. Now picture this, a 14-year-old kid, probably 130 pounds soaking wet, stepping into the box against pitchers who would throw at your head just to prove a point. And Willie, he held his own. Scouts saw him and thought they were hallucinating. This kid wasn't just talented, he was from another planet. 1950, the New York Giants signed him for $4,000. $4,000. To put that in perspective, that's like signing the next LeBron James for the price of a used Honda Civic, the steal of the century. Now, quick question for you. Drop a comment below. Who's got the most complete player in baseball today? Not just power, not just speed, but everything. Because what Willie was about to do set a standard that nobody, and I mean nobody, has ever matched. Keep watching. Remember Willie crying on the phone? 1951, he's drowning. One hit in 26 at-bats. The New York media is destroying him. Fans are booing. He's 20 years old in the biggest city in the world, and he wants to go home to Alabama. His manager, Leo DeRocher, tells him this: Willie, you're my center fielder. Today, tomorrow, this week, next month, next year, you're my center fielder as long as I'm managing the Giants. And something clicked. Within weeks, Willie was hitting bombs, tape measure shots. By the end of the season, Rookie of the Year. Giants won the pennant, and Willie Mays became a name that would never be forgotten. But then, just when he's about to take over baseball, the Army drafted him. 1952, Korean War. He lost almost 2 full seasons. 21 years old, just hitting his prime, and the government takes him away. Most players never recover from that, but Willie wasn't most players. 1954, Willie returns from the Army, and he doesn't just pick up where he left off. He ascends. 345 batting average, 41 home runs, 110 RBIs, his first MVP award. The Giants win the World Series, and Willie makes the catch. You've seen it, the one I showed you at the beginning. But here's what makes it insane. Willie didn't just catch that ball. He caught it over his shoulder while running full speed with his back to home plate. Then, in one motion, he spun and fired it back into the infield to prevent runners from scoring. Ted Williams, one of the greatest hitters ever, said that catch alone made Willie the best player he'd ever seen. Joe DiMaggio agreed. This wasn't just great, This was art. But here's the thing nobody talks about. That catch almost didn't happen. Willie almost wasn't in that game. Why? Because of something that had nothing to do with baseball and everything to do with the color of his skin. I'll tell you that story in a minute. First, you need to see just how dominant Willie was. Look at these numbers. Between 1954 and 1966, 12 years, Willie averaged .311 with 39 home runs and 105 RBIs per season. He won 2 MVPs, should have won 5. He was a 24-time All-Star, 24 times. He led the league in home runs 4 times, stolen bases 4 times, slugging percentage 5 times, 12 Gold Gloves. And get this, they didn't even start giving Gold Gloves until 1957. Willie was already 26 years old. He probably would have had 20 Gold Gloves if they started when he did. 1961, Willie hits 4 home runs in 1 game. 4. In 1956, he steals 40 bases. In 1957, he hits 35 home runs and steals 38 bases. A 30-30 season before anyone even talked about 30-30 seasons. But it's not just what he did, it's how he did it. His throws from center field, on a rope from 400 feet away. Runners didn't challenge Willie. If they did, they were out. His teammates would just shake their heads. How does someone do that? But Willie's story isn't all highlight reels and standing ovations. Playing as a black man in 1950s and 60s America meant facing demons that had nothing to do with curveballs. Remember I told you Willie almost didn't play in that 1954 World Series? Here's why. When the Giants moved to San Francisco in 1957, Willie tried to buy a house. A house. He had the money. He was a superstar. But the owner refused to sell it to him because of his skin color. Hotels wouldn't let him stay with his white teammates. Restaurants wouldn't serve him. He received death threats, hate mail. In some cities, fans threw things at him, yelled slurs. And Willie, he kept playing, kept smiling, kept being great. There's a story from 1963, Houston. Fans are screaming racial slurs at Willie. He steps to the plate and crushes a home run. As he rounds the bases, he looks up at those fans and smiles. Doesn't say a word, just smiles. That was Willie. Grace under pressure. Jackie Robinson broke the barrier. But Willie's generation had to live through the aftermath. The resentment, the racism, the constant reminders that some people didn't want them there. And Willie never complained. Not publicly. He let his game do the talking. Every catch, every home run, every stolen base was an answer. Here's a question for you. Could today's athletes handle what Willie went through? The racism, the injuries, the pressure? Drop a comment. Because I want to know if you think modern players could survive in Willie's era. Keep watching. The ending will surprise you. By the late 1960s, Willie's body was breaking down. The knees that carried him to impossible catches were screaming. The bat speed that terrorized pitchers slowed down. But he kept showing up because legends don't quit. 1972. After 21 seasons with the Giants, Willie was traded to the New York Mets. It broke his heart. San Francisco was home, but baseball is a business. So Willie went back to New York, where it all started. He played 2 more seasons, helping the Mets reach the 1973 World Series at age 42. In Game 2, Willie singled and drove in a run. The entire stadium gave him a standing ovation. They remembered. They knew they were watching the end of greatness. When he retired in 1973, the final numbers were absurd. 660 home runs, 3rd all-time behind only Ruth and Aaron. 3,283 hits, 338 stolen bases, a .302 career batting average, 941 OPS, 12 Gold Gloves, 2 MVPs, Rookie of the Year, 24 All-Star selections, 1 World Series ring. But numbers don't capture Willie Mays. Ted Williams once said, "They invented the All-Star game for Willie Mays. Joe DiMaggio said Willie was the greatest player he ever saw. When ESPN ranked the greatest athletes of the 20th century, Willie was top 10. When the Sporting News ranked the 100 greatest baseball players ever, Willie was number 2, behind only Babe Ruth. Some argue he should have been number 1. And he remained humble through it all. In interviews, Willie would deflect praise. He'd talk about his teammates, his coaches, the fans. He never took credit for his own greatness. Willie Mays passed away on June 18, 2024, at the age of 93. The outpouring was immediate. Every news outlet led with his death.
Breaking news tonight, Baseball Hall of Famer and legend Willie Mays has passed away at the age of 93.
Baseball stopped. Fans gathered at stadiums. Players wore number 24 patches. The president released a statement. Willie wasn't just a ball player, he was an American icon. So why will there never be another Willie Mays? Because Willie represented something that can't be replicated. He was the complete player in an era before specialization. Today's game is about launch angles and exit velocity. Players hit home runs or strike out. They don't steal bases because analytics say it's inefficient. They don't dive for balls because teams have too much invested. Willie did everything. He played every game like it might be his last. He ran out every ground ball. He played with reckless abandon for 22 seasons. King Griffey Jr. grew up idolizing Willie. He wore number 24 in Little League. He practiced catching balls like Willie did. Griffey became one of the greatest ever, and he'd tell you he was chasing Willie. Barry Bonds, Willie's godson, learned the game at Willie's knee. Mike Trout says Willie was the standard. Every generation produces great players, but they're all chasing Willie. There's a photo of Willie from 1954. He's rounding the bases after a home run. His cap is flying off. He's got that smile, that pure joy. That's how we should remember him. Not as statistics, but as a man who loved baseball so much that it radiated from him. You can study his numbers, you can watch the highlights, but you'll never truly understand what it was like to see Willie Mays play, to watch him own center field, to see him turn the impossible into routine. Today's players are incredible, but they'll never beat Willie Mays. Because Willie was built on sandlots and Negro League fields. He was built by the love of the game, pure, simple, undeniable love. Willie Mays was the player, the standard, the dream, baseball's greatest ambassador. The say hey kid who made us say wow for 5 decades. If Willie's story lit a fire in you, if you're ready to celebrate legends who actually changed the game, smash that subscribe button. Chronicles of the Game isn't just another sports channel. We're a movement. We're bringing back the stories that matter, the players who deserve to be remembered. Willie Mays made us believe in magic. Now, it's our turn to make sure his magic never dies. Say hey, and I'll see you in the next one.